There's a moment somewhere between confidence and chaos when Iceland stops being a destination and starts being a teacher. Ours came on a road called Suðurstrandarvegur. The wind didn't ask for permission. It never does. The campervan drifted sideways into the snow on the roadside, and no matter what I did with the wheel, the ground underneath us had already made its decision. We were stuck. I remember the silence that followed. That particular silence where everyone is processing what just happened, and nobody quite wants to say it out loud. I felt it in my chest. That sharp, hollow feeling when your confidence breaks. I had been driving. I had been responsible. And in 30 seconds, Iceland had reminded me that I was a guest here, and this land plays by its own rules. I was scared. In the Big region, the Earth performs on a schedule. The Geysir field is one of the oldest known geyser sites in the world, so well known in fact, that the word geyser itself comes from here, from the Old Norse gjósa, to gush. We stood around Strucker and watched the water swell in its basin. It bulges, it breathes, and then, without ceremony, it erupts. Iceland's waterfalls don't all speak the same language. Seljalandsfoss speaks in secrets. It lets you walk behind its curtain, into the cave behind the cascade, and see the world from inside the water's fall. You stand there surrounded by the roar and the mist and the filtered gray light, and you feel like you've stepped into the earth's private moment. Skogafoss speaks differently. It doesn't invite you in. It commands your attention. 60 meters of water crashing into the valley below, producing a mist so constant that a rainbow appears, almost always, hanging in the air before it. They say if you find the treasure chest hidden at the base of Skogafoss, your luck is made forever. We didn't find the chest, but we stood inside a rainbow in Iceland with our faces wet from someone else's waterfall. I think that counts for something. Jökulsárlón is the place where glaciers come to say goodbye. The Vatnajökull Glacier, Europe's largest, calves its ancient ice into this lagoon, and the icebergs drift slowly toward the sea. Some are the size of cars, some are the size of houses. All of them are blue, the deep, compressed blue of ice that has been forming for hundreds of years. They drift, they rotate, they melt centimeter by centimeter, and when the sea finally claims them, they wash back onto the black sand beach just beyond the lagoon. Diamond Beach, blocks of crystal clear ice on a pitch black shore, lit by the northern sky. Diamonds, scattered like an offering. We walked among them quietly. None of us said much. There are moments in travel where language stops being adequate, and you just have to let the place be what it is. After days of wind and waterfalls and open road, Reykjavik felt like a warm exhale. We'd been living in a campervan, eating at campsites, waking up cold and going to bed tired, and loving every difficult, beautiful second of it. But the city welcomed us with its color and warmth, and we let ourselves rest. We didn't know as we settled in for our last night that Iceland had one final thing to show us. It started as a glow on the horizon, and then it became something else entirely. The northern lights on our last night in Reykjavik were not a whisper, like they had been before. They were a declaration, curtains of green light folding and unfolding across the entire sky, moving, breathing, shifting, as if the atmosphere itself had decided to perform one final time before we left. We stood in the street and stared upward with our mouths open. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. I thought about the week behind us, about the first cold night in the van at Skagafloss, about the road that had taken us sideways, and the strangers who stopped to offer coffee and warmth without being asked, about the turquoise waterfall, the diamonds on black sand, the rainbow at Skagafloss. Iceland had not been easy. It had not gone to plan. It had been better than that. It had been real. If you're thinking about Iceland, whether it's worth the cold and the wind and the uncertainty, I want to tell you this. It is worth all of it, not despite the difficult parts. Because of them, Iceland will not let you be passive. It demands your full attention, every kilometer of every road. And in return, it will show you things that will live in you for the rest of your life. We came home changed, quietly, permanently changed, the way anyone is changed by a place that refused to let them stay comfortable. Thank you for watching. If this journey moved you even a little, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. I'd love to know if you've been to Iceland or if it's on your list. We have more stories to tell. Until next time. Till next.